We're going to talk about this axe head that I found in North Carolina and how I got it cleaned up. But first, let me show you the find.
What do I find? Yeah, I told you I'd find one. Then I have to carry the damn thing around.
So if you don't know much about axes like myself, I would suggest that you go to Google, look up the different styles of axe heads that they have. There's a lot of different charts out there that you can find. Now, I was at Digstock in North Carolina. That's a big clue. Went to this chart and I found a North Carolina style axe, and it matched the one that I had almost perfectly. So I feel very confident that I had a North Carolina axe. Here's a different chart as well. You can see right there, it shows a little point at the bottom. The length, the size, everything matched up other than the rust. Here's another example of the North Carolina pattern. And you can see right there, the point on the bottom of my axe head matches that. So start with that, get a good knowledge of what you're working on. Then I had to soak it in some vinegar. And I was thinking that that would work, and it usually does to some extent, but not on this. It was just too much rust. But I left it soaking in this distilled vinegar. I have to put a picture up there of the vinegar I used. But I left it in there overnight, so a good 8-12 hours, and that's what it looked like. You see the foam. But guys, it didn't get a lot of rust off, so I had to step it up a little bit, and I had to do some electrolysis. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to make an electrolysis machine. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. This is the one I have. I put it in there for probably 10 hours, but you can see right there at the very top, it's cooking now, man. That rust is coming off. After about a good 8 hours, this is what it looked like. Now you could actually take a chisel or a little screwdriver, maybe anything with a flat surface, and just start hitting that axe on some of those bigger chunks, just like that right there. And some of those bigger pieces are going to fly off. Now you don't obviously, you're not going to worry about scratching this. It's well over 100 years old and it's got pits from one end to the other, so you're trying to get as much rust knocked off as possible, get the dirt out from the inside where the handle is at, and then I put it back in there again for another 4 hours, getting those chunks of rust off. Now after that, I got the drill, I got a wire brush, and I started going over the axe head, knocking off as much rust again as possible, getting down in all those little grooves. You want to go back and forth. Take your time doing this. After you feel confident that you've got as much as you can off, then get some sandpaper, different grits, and start sanding that axe head. I know it sounds funny, sanding on metal, but it works. And this is the end results right here. Looks good. I like the pits on there, the ones that stayed. Otherwise, I would have to sand that thing for weeks to get it super smooth. And next up, I use some super glue. Same thing to use on guns. Turn it nice and dark. Put it on the axe head. Got it in all those little pores to help seal it, preserve it. And then I got some 1000 grit sandpaper and went back over the axe head again to get that bluing off, with the exception of the little pits. This is the finished product. Got a nice thin coat of oil on there. I think it came out pretty good, and I didn't have to put a whole lot of money into it. I did buy an axe handle at the hardwood store, and I had a little stain, put some stain on it, sealed it, and it hangs out in the studio. I think it looks pretty good. One thing I did buy, and I got it off, I think Etsy, was just a little label, Colonial Axe Head, found in North Carolina, Digstock, 2024. Just to give that little personal touch. And again, this is out in the studio hanging. And guys, I'll tell you, I had a good time doing this. And if you want to do something different, like an axe head or a hammerhead, give it a try. It doesn't take a whole lot of work, but the end result is worth it. It looks pretty cool. You'll be proud that you did it. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there on that next dig.